I've noticed a lot of people these days are not in touch with their feelings. They're not connected with their own true self. They're not connected with their core being. The world that we live in today can be so scary and overwhelming that we tend to shut ourselves out from the rest of the world. And this might be something that we're not doing consciously, but it's still happening. And what happens when you shut yourself off from the rest of the world, you also shut yourself off to receiving anything that you might want. You shut yourself off from receiving love. You shut yourself off from receiving opportunity. It's honestly very sad and scary to think about that this might be happening to you. It has definitely happened to me over and over and over again, where I experienced trauma or I experienced losing myself in a way that it was way easier to not feel anymore. We tend to get all wrapped up in the world and the lives that we're living that we're not even really paying attention to how we're feeling anymore. And because I learned this from a very young age, I know how to get back to myself. I know how to get back to my feelings. I know how to get to the place where I need to be. But I can understand if you're not, if you never learned how to get in touch with your feelings, you don't know where to start. But this is where I come in. I come here to help you get in touch with all your feelings. And when I say all of them, I mean all of them. Because without all of the anger, sad, and pain, you cannot get to the happy. Because if you're not in touch with your feelings anymore, there's probably a reason why you did not want to feel anymore. There's probably a very good reason why you didn't want to feel anymore, because it hurt. It was painful, it made you sad. That's not something a human wants to feel. But honestly, there's also something very beautiful and human about these feelings. They show that you're alive. So if I was in your shoes, if I was not in touch with my feelings, if I did not know where to start, this is something I would do. I would every single day take 10 minutes of my day to just sit and allow myself to feel. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, you just said it. I'm not in touch with my feelings. I don't feel anything. That's why I clicked on this video. How am I going to do that? How I'm going to sit and feel when I don't know how to feel? What you're going to do is you're going to close your eyes and you're going to put your attention to your heart. You're going to look at your heart from your own perspective and you're going to see that there's a lock on it. And in your hand, you have the key. And I know this is the scary part because once you unlock your heart and open up and see and feel what is there, it's scary because you put that away for a reason. However, you want to get in touch with your feelings again. You have to go through all of the gunk before you get to a clean, beautiful, loving heart. So if the first few times that you're gonna sit down and wanting to feel, you have the key in your hand and you still feel like you can't, that's perfectly fine. Just sit yourself down and sit with the feeling of being scared to unlock your heart. That is already a layer of feeling that you're now accessing, the feeling of fear. And with those 10 minutes, you're gonna feel the most fear you've ever felt. Go deep, deep, deep in the fear. You push yourself into the fear every day until the fear dissolves. Because the way emotions work is you need to put energy on them to be able to dissolve them. It's like ice. When you have a block of ice and you put warmth, aka energy, on the block of ice, it melts away. And that is how your emotions work as well. So when you get through the layer of the fear, you can finally unlock your heart with the key that you've had in your hand the whole time. And you can find all the different types of layers of emotions that are still there that need to be dissolved. And now that you know how to do this, you did it with the fear before unlocking your heart, you know how to go through every single layer that is there. And it's gonna be scary again, but you also know you went through that layer of fear and you got out to the other end. So you also know that you're capable of doing this now. So every day, 10 minutes, get how far you can get. And this way, you're already in touch with your feelings. You're already feeling everything that is there. You're feeling through all the layers of your emotion. And honestly, for me, the more I do this, the more exciting it gets. Because you're learning a new skill. You're learning how to work through your emotions. You're learning to feel things in order to dissolve it. And once you get through all the layers of dissolving these feelings, these negative emotions, you get to your core. You get to your heart. You get to your soul. And feeling the love that you have in your heart all the time is the best feeling that there is. This is where you can create from. This is where you can live a life from instead of just trying to survive. And this is why being open and feeling your emotions and being in touch with them is so important. Because you cannot create a life that is sustainable from all of these locked feelings. In order to create, you need life energy, and you cannot access life energy when you locked yourself up. This is why people go to therapy, to move through all of these layers. But you can do it yourself as well. And professional help is important. If you cannot get through, find help. But the fact that you're starting the journey of getting in touch with your feelings again is so beautiful. It is a level of self-care that you need in order to build and create. It is a level of self-care that goes beyond just your body. It also has very much to do with your body, because locking up those emotions, they can be anywhere in your body, not just your heart. You can store negative emotions anywhere. And when you don't dissolve these things, they can turn into physical ailments. So I'm so happy and so grateful that you're starting on your journey to get in touch with your feelings again. If anything was unclear, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments for me. I'm really happy to help and to clarify. If you want to follow me on my journey, you can follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, and I will see you in the next one.